Welcome back to my channel Word Steps. Today we are continuing the interview with Dianne, telling us her story about her older child with selective mutism. I'd like to thank Dianne for being so specific and especially listen out to all the suggestions that she gives other parents.
So Dianne, obviously she is slightly older, and we know ourselves as professionals, the children that they are that a bit older than 10, they really require a more in-depth support. So like an exposure type therapy. Have you looked into it and what did you find? And were you able to get into any of them?
Right. We spent months and months looking for treatment programs for my daughter. And there are several here in the US that are fantastic. There's one in my state that is really good, but it's just incredibly expensive. No insurance covers any part of it, so it's all out of pocket. And like you said, because she is older, it really requires more than once a week for 45 minutes. It really needs to be an intensive program. We did just this year get her into an outpatient program, which was for selective mutism, and they were fantastic. And we learned a lot because they had parent classes that were attached to it as well, which was amazing. But we learned that all of the play therapy and art therapy really isn't the appropriate approach for somebody with selective mutism. And the fact that it took us, a year plus to even get that piece of information it's disheartening. So we started with exposure therapy, and she was really thriving in this program. She hadn't been in school for a couple of months when we started this program. She was doing a lot of school refusal. So it was really great to see that in a supportive therapeutic setting, she can really be successful. If she has the tools and the people around her, she can make progress. And the school where she was, they just don't have the ability. It has nothing to do with whether they want to do it. They don't have the capacity to give a child like mine what she needs to be successful.
Did you find that also her understanding of selective mutism helped her and her self-esteem therefore changed?
Absolutely. I think going into this group and seeing that she was not the only person who was like this, who had these problems, and she was in a group of about 8 other kids that ranged from 12 all the way up to 17. So I was a little nervous. I said, "Oh my gosh, I don't know how she's going to react. I don't know. Let's just try it." She did amazing. She, within the first week, was making eye contact, was sitting with the group, which seemed like very small steps, but they're huge. They're really huge.
Of course.
So within the first week, we saw just a really dramatic improvement, and she was participating in the exposure. She didn't like them. They're not fun. They're not meant to be fun, but she was doing them. She was accomplishing them, and she was getting a real sense of pride, I think, from what she was able to do.
Exposure is almost like saying to you, go and touch a lion when you're totally scared of a lion.
Right.
So for them, it's facing their fears. And I have to say that is, if anything, the only thing that is going to help them through, because they build at a little step at a time the realization that they can take little steps.
Right. Right.
So I wonder, where is she at now?
Well, now, because of everything that's going on in the world with the coronavirus, everything has kind of come to a stop, unfortunately. Her IOP program went to a virtual platform.
Okay.
She will not participate in at all. And we tried making it as one of her exposures, slowly building up with the audio off or the video off, but she just won't do it. And with the way things are right now, I just kind of said, I don't want this to be a battle about getting her to use a virtual platform. So she's not doing therapy. She's not in any kind of counseling. Her school is shut for the rest of the year. I am in touch with the school weekly, and we're working on getting her a placement for a therapeutic school for the fall, which specializes in anxiety, which this was kind of in the works before all of the shutdowns happened. So it's just, we're living in such a unprecedented time that it's hard to navigate just with any child. So with somebody like my daughter, it's just compounds a lot of the problems that she had before we started the program.
Did you find, though, a relief when you discovered that there was a name to what your child had?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as soon as I heard it, and as soon as I did even the smallest about research about it, it was just like, okay, now we know what we're dealing with, and now we can have a path and a plan. Because before that, it was just kind of like people would look at you and be like, what are you doing? Why is your daughter like this? Why won't she respond? That's so rude. She's so rude. I heard that so many times from people. And it's heartbreaking as a mom, because something's going on, something's not right. And to have that validation of, something's going on, and this is what it is, and now we can move forward. It gives you kind of like that purpose and that road to go on.
Absolutely. What would you advise to parents in your situation? If they've asked themselves for a long time, what's going on?
I would just say, go with your gut. When you know it's something more than just being shy or being a quiet kid, or you're seeing some of these physical manifestations of anxiety pop up, follow that path, whether it's starting with your pediatrician, go to the school, implement those tools that we do have available to us, whether it's the 504 here in the States, requesting an IEP, which is super important, I think, to kind of get a whole picture of your kid. And then there are some legal obligations from your school to service your child. I think using all of the tools that are available to us is just really important, and knowing what our rights are as parents, reading as much as you can, following as many people as you can on Facebook who are specialists in this field, and listening to other parents' stories, I think, are so important, because it just all comes down to, these are our kids, and we just want them to be happy and healthy, and our road is a little bit more challenging than some other kiddos.
Definitely.
Just to keep advocating for them, because they really, really need us to do that for them.
So I gather, so important for you to be informed, for you to lower your anxiety, in order for everybody and create a team around the child. I think that's very, very important.
Absolutely.
So what would be your word for communication?
Probably just understanding, in whatever form that comes in. And with my daughter, sometimes it's just a head nod or a thumbs up, and understanding that that's where she's at right now in this moment, and just being supportive of that.
Yeah, my word for communication is support. In order for people to understand that communication is beyond words, and these children will find those words, but they need to find themselves first. And I cannot thank you enough for being here, but also I would love to have you back again, maybe even in 6 months' time.
I'd love that, yeah.
To see where things are at. So thank you so much, Dianne, for your time.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This was really a lot of fun and a lot of information for me. So.
Oh, I'm really pleased. And I'll say to everyone, please share this video with anyone that doesn't really know anything about selective mutism, or they might want to learn about it. And if you have any questions, please pop them below. And both myself and Dianne would be delighted to answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Remember that you find a lot of videos like this in my YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe. I post every week, and every day is a new day. And make sure that you are your own sunshine. See you next week.